So this is my apple tree. It's a Gala apple. I grew it from a seed, and it's I think it's like 4 years old now, I think, and it's not grafted, so I'm not sure if it'll produce, but it's still an interesting experiment. You can see it's highly branched, or starting to become more highly branched at the bottom. And as you work your way up the tree, it has some good branches, but it's not quite as dense of a branch network. And so I'm really interested to see how this tree does. I grew it from a seed, from an actual apple from the store, so I'm pretty proud of it. So the buds aren't really starting to come out yet, but I think pretty soon they will. Alright guys, so this is my little setup going on here for my seed starting. This is a spray bottle, it just has some water in it right now. And so you might be wondering, what in the heck is this thing? This is my peppers. I'm trying to germinate them right now. So I put the bag over to basically keep in the heat. I have a heating mat underneath this tray, and here I have my peppers. I started them about 7 days ago, or sorry, not 7, 5 days ago, and nothing's really come up yet, so I'm not worried at this point, but I'm hoping these things germinate. I planted quite a few seeds in each little pot, so sorry you can't really see. I should probably take this bag off, but if you look extremely closely, you might not be able to see it in the video, but there's a tiny root emerging from one of the pepper seeds, and that's on the surface of the soil. I obviously didn't cover that one up enough, but that's a good sign. That means that my seeds are starting to germinate, and so yeah, it's just a matter of time. It should be about, I'm gonna say, within the next couple days or so, and they should be starting to come up. So yeah, I'm just gonna cover that back up so that the heat stays in. And yeah, so, and this is my Christmas cactus right here. It's doing really well. As you can see, it's got some blooms that are actually falling, starting to shrivel up because they've already emerged, and they're starting to die back. But there's a new one right here. This one's about to open, and then there's a bunch of little buds on this plant as well. Not sure if you can tell, but it's a little bitty bud right about there. And yeah, so that's just my little grow setup at this point. I'm gonna be starting a lot more seeds later on. Probably end of April is when I usually start my tomatoes and my cucumbers and other warm weather crops. But peppers, I like to give them a very good head start, and that's why I already started them. So so yeah, so that's pretty much all that's growing at this point. And yeah. And you might be wondering how I started my pepper seeds, or what exactly did I do. Well, I was originally going to make a video documenting like how I make the potting mix, and how I put everything together. But honestly, I thought that was going to be a little boring, so I decided not to do that. So instead, I'm just going to show you my setup right now. And so just a bit of background. So what I did is I went out to a local big box store, and I bought myself a few bags of potting mix, and the specific brands aren't really important. You just got to make sure that you find a nice lightweight mix that contains peat moss. I usually like to get ones with peat moss, and also you want some vermiculite and some perlite in there. Usually I find that they don't put enough perlite in the bags. So what I do is I actually go out and I buy myself a bag of perlite. Now this is Miracle-Gro brand perlite. It's pretty lightweight stuff. If you feel the bag, it's pretty light. And so basically what this does is it improves drainage and aeration in the soil. And you just want to take a look inside here. They got really nice looking perlites. So I just use this to kind of give my seeds a bit more aeration, a bit more room for oxygen penetration, and also just kind of aerates the soil. So that's basically what I do for potting mix. And as far as what I do for the preparing the seeds for germination is I put the pepper seeds in the fridge for 3 days, and this essentially mimics the winter, and it basically kind of activates the pepper seed when it's brought back out from the fridge into a warmer environment. So pepper seeds are very kind of finicky to germinate, more so than tomatoes and cucumbers and other warm season crops. So I did that, and then once I did that, after 3 days, I took it out of the fridge, and then I made some lukewarm black tea, and I put the pepper seeds in this for about half an hour. And essentially what this does is it softens up the outer shell and allows more water to get into the seed, and ultimately this moisture is what's going to cause the seeds to germinate. So that's what I did, and yeah, and then I just planted the seeds just in the potting mix. But I always like to pre-water my containers. I'm a big advocate of bottom watering. It's a great way to ensure that your whole pot is completely moist, as opposed to just watering from the top, which may or may not get down to the bottom. So I do that, and I just kind of cover everything up with plastic and put it in a tray on a heating mat, and I'll let it sit. And something that's really interesting is that this Christmas cactus, this is my mom's Christmas cactus, it's finally starting to bloom, and it's never bloomed before. So, and she's had it for like, I don't know, probably like 10 years. And as you can see, it's got plenty of buds coming. That's really neat. I'm really excited for those. Yeah, so I think it has something to do with this west-facing window that it's in right now. But yeah, it's really cool, and yeah, just thought I'd show you guys that real quick.